Welcome to the Peak Mental Performance Podcast with Joe Schillero, optimizing your mental health and athletic performance one episode at a time.
Hey everybody, so I want to make this quick video just explaining a little bit about what this podcast is going to be about and what you can expect in the coming weeks as these episodes start to come out. So the first 2 episodes are going to be coming out next week, and I'll explain a little more about those here in a second. Basically, there's 2 different directions that this podcast is going to go. One is the direction of mental health and comprehensive treatment to mental illness, and talking to all these different people from different arenas in mental health: doctors, counselors, sports psychologists, endocrinologists, sports nutrition people, all these different areas that all can help you improve your mental health. And for those of you that have followed some of the things that I've wrote for Elite FTS in the past, I've talked about some of the things I've dealt with really severe OCD and anxiety and depression, and some of the hard things that I've worked through with that. And although life's still not perfect, I've come a long way from where I was a couple years ago, and a lot of that has been through the help of resources outside of what I considered at first when I was dealing with those things. So a big part of this is going to be providing resources and talking to people and getting information out there that I wish I would have had a couple years ago, and I think can help everybody who's looking to improve their mental health. The other side of things is going to be the performance side of things, and regardless of whether you're interested in mental health or you dealt with mental illness, everyone who's a coach or athlete is interested in performance. And we've seen over the last few years just how much that psychology and the mental side of things plays into whether you call it just mental toughness or edge or your grit or whatever it is. Your ability to perform depends on your mental state. So we're going to be talking about ways to improve your performance through different strategies on the mental side of things. And I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth between different guests, where we'll have kind of a more technical, professional guest, and then we'll have a coach or an athlete who has a very unique experience or unique challenge that they've faced where they've been able to have a lot of success at a high level with mental strategies. So I've got some really exciting guests that are going to be coming up that I'll announce as the next coming weeks come up. And I think people will really enjoy and be entertained by these episodes and be educated by them. So our first guest early next week is a sit-down interview I did with Dr. Steve Grafe from Ohio State University, who's the counseling and sports psychologist for their athletics department, and he also played football on their 2002 national championship team. My second guest later in the week is IFBB pro and 4-time Mr. Olympia competitor Mark Dugdale, who's been competing at high level, pretty much the highest level in bodybuilding for a number of years, and has some really unique perspectives on how he competes at an extremely high level while still focusing on some of his priorities and faith and family, and I think he'll have some really good insight that a lot of people will enjoy. So those are the first 2 guests. I have some other ones that are going to be coming up that I'll kind of wait to announce in a little bit. If you're interested in following all this content, I think it'll be helpful for a lot of people no matter what your interests are. You can go to peakmentalperformance.org. Everything's kind of connected into there. It's going to be a landing site for everything. I'm going to have videos of these podcast episodes as well as the audio versions on iTunes once we get a few going, and I'll load them all up there. So I'll have everything on that spot there. You can also just subscribe to the YouTube channel here. And then subscribe on iTunes when that's loaded. So if you have questions or anything, topics you'd like to see hit on or guests you'd like to see on the podcast, you can contact me through the website as well. And I'm excited. I think this is going to be a really cool project, and if you have input, I'd be happy to hear it as well. So thanks for taking a few minutes to listen to this, and keep an eye out for next week when we get those first episodes out.